ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Aisha. I am a certified trauma-informed coach, and I am on a mission to help 1 million women become their most confident and successful selves with the use of law of assumption. If you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and tap the button and hit the bell icon to be notified so you never miss out on powerful tips, inspiring stories, and essential guidance so you too can create the life of your dreams. Today is a much warranted video, especially as someone in the Muslim community, because there is a lot of misinformation out there, and there are a lot of manifestation coaches who are not Muslim who honestly are confusing the Muslim community as far as whether or not manifestation and Islam can go hand in hand. So today we are going to clear that up. And before I get into it, I do want to remind you I have a Confidence Club premium membership. It is a premium YouTube subscription for only $19.99 a month, where I go deeper into these topics. I really dissect the concepts and methods and formulas so that you can manifest successfully and help you to get through the biggest roadblocks and limiting beliefs that you may run into on your manifestation journey, so that manifestation is both easy and fun. So first and foremost, I want to address what manifestation means by definition. Manifestation is an event, action, or object that clearly shows or embodies something, especially a theory or an abstract idea. Essentially what that means is it's a demonstration. So when we say a manifestation, we mean this is the demonstration of a concept. So if I take this pen, somebody had to think of the idea of this pen. They had a concept in their mind of, I want to write with something, I want to be able to hold ink, and I want it to be able to be comfortable in the hand, and I want it to have this feature where you can click and the tip is retractable. So this pen is a manifestation, or in other words, a demonstration of that concept somebody thought of and created. The other idea of manifestation that we can understand is when you see someone being confident, the way that they carry themselves, the way that they dress, the way they speak, the way they interact with the world around them is displaying or demonstrating that confidence. And therefore the idea or concept of confidence is being manifested by their actions and behaviors. So far, we are not contradicting the existence of God. We are not suggesting that there is more than one God. So none of that is essentially shirk. Now, where people get it really confused is law of attraction versus law of assumption. I do not teach law of attraction. It's a whole convoluted thing. A lot of people have taken law of attraction and changed it into this pseudoscience of spirituality and kind of taken it in such a direction that it's too much to dissect in one video. I can do a video on that if you'd like, but I teach law of assumption. Now, law of assumption is defined as a philosophical concept that states your beliefs and assumptions about yourself and the world around you directly shape your reality, meaning that by actively believing something you desire already exists, you are more likely to manifest it into your life. Essentially, what you believe to be true becomes your reality. Again, God is not even in the definition of law of assumption. It's nowhere to be found in what law of assumption at its core means. The reason we bring God into it is because those of us who understand law of assumption, who also happen to be women of faith and men of faith, we are using our lived experience to integrate our spiritual and religious beliefs with the law of assumption because they work in harmony with one another. But at its core, the key points of law of assumption are positive thinking, mindset shifts, and the concept of visualization or changing your behavior to act as if, as well as feeling positive emotions. Again, none of those are directly contradicting the existence of God or taking power away from God or not giving proper credit to God. So we have already thoroughly debunked this to this point in the video. But if you're still uncertain, here is what makes manifestation shirk. Here is what makes law of attraction or law of assumption shirk, is when you credit anyone else but God. So if you claim yourself to be God, if you claim it's the universe, if you claim it's fairies, if you claim it's whoever, whatever deity that you are crediting with the reason you've received your manifestation, that's where you cross the line into it becoming shirk. So by itself, manifestation and law of assumption are not going against your religion. They are not going against your beliefs. Ultimately, especially in Islam, the one requirement to be Muslim is the Shahada, which is to recognize that there is only one God, there is no Lord except for God, Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger and prophet. So as long as you are, when you receive your manifestation, as long as you are holding on to the idea that when good things come to you, they're coming from God, they're coming through God, that when your prayers are answered, you're not crediting anyone outside of that, it's not shirk. I also want to leave a disclaimer here, because just because I'm a Muslim woman who teaches manifestation does not mean that I only create content for Muslim women. I create content for everyone, whether you are Christian or Jewish or atheist or Buddhist or Hindu, whatever your beliefs are, this information applies to you. So sometimes in my videos, I will say universe. Sometimes I will say God, or explain that there are other belief systems, but I will always use the disclaimer of this is whatever you believe, whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it. I know what I call it. I know my relationship with God. That's my personal understanding of the world, but I'm not ever going to push my beliefs onto other people, and I'm not going to shame other people for where they are. You have to understand, not only am I a Muslim revert, but I was atheist for a long time. I lost faith in God. Before that, I was raised a Christian. So I am someone who understands that our perspectives change throughout our evolution in this human experience. Of course, I would love for everyone to understand and see that there is only one God, because that is something, ironically, I've actually held on to since my childhood, even through the years where I did struggle with my relationship with God and, in fact, lost faith completely for some time. When I came back, I knew there was only one. I never have believed in multiple deities, in multiple energies, in multiple gods and goddesses or equivalent of that are on the same level, right? And I can understand the interpretation of goddesses being smaller gods and bigger gods, and when you get into Greek mythology and things like that, there's so many concepts out there, so many people's perspectives, there's so many interpretations, right? But at the core, if you say there's only one supreme God, there's only one who is the Lord above all, then you are agreeing of the most fundamental principle of Islam. And as long as you're not going against that, you're not betraying your religion. So I do want to just take this a little bit further, because it is confusing when you are watching people who are teaching law of assumption, but they're teaching it from a non-religious or atheist perspective. Now, Neville Goddard himself often said things like, your imagination is God. And to me, what my interpretation of this is he meant that your imagination is your connection to God. So our human experience is very visual, it's auditory, we have all of these senses in our bodies, such as like percepting, the perception of cold and heat, or the perception of wet and dry. We also have the perception of fearful circumstances, where we will get into a situation, we read the room, we may have hairs stand up on the back of our necks, or just get this like bone-chilling feeling. There are multiple expressions of intuition, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to our imagination, that is not as related to our human experience as it is related to our spiritual experience here. And again, this is my opinion. But what I see it as is imagination is the connection to God. And those who are further and further away from God, those who are further and further away from the God that lives within them, that was given to us when he breathed life into us, those people tend to be very detached from their imagination. So when I read Neville and when I understand him say, God is your own human imagination, I mean that God gave us an imagination as the primary connection to him. Which is also why when you're in prayer, when you're in a meditative state, your imagination starts creating these things. It starts uncovering these ideas. You start to work out problems and find solutions in a way that you weren't able to when you were out here living your human life in the world. And that, to me, is my personal proof that our imagination is how we access God. So when we are making dua, when we are in this calm state, being very present in the moment, with the intention to connect to God, our imagination is how God talks to us. And this is why the use of that imagination in law of assumption is what creates opportunities that then manifest in the real world. Because when a desire hits you and you tap into your imagination, you are tapping into that connection to God, and God will guide you. Your homework for today's video, your challenge here to really test out manifestation, to test out your imagination, to challenge your concept of relating to God, is to sit in an imaginative state. So if you want to meditate or pray, if you want to take a bath or have some tea that relaxes you, just whatever it takes to get into a state of calm where your energy is just easy. I want you to ask God directly, what would you like me to do? Whether you are holding an intention of, I want to achieve this thing, what would you like me to do to achieve it? Or whether you are just looking to open yourself up to guidance in general. When I sit and make dua, and at the end of my prayer, I'm in this calm, peaceful, relaxed, happy state, I will ask, what will you have me do today? What is next for me? What action can I take? What do you want me to pursue? What can I do? How can I show up for you? If I'm praying specifically for something like health, for example, what can I do to be more healthy? And I will just sit in silence until an answer comes. And I believe wholeheartedly that that answer is coming through my imagination from God. That is the purpose of prayer. When we worship and ask for help, ask for guidance, we then wait to receive it. And we receive it through our imagination. So I really hope that this video cleared things up for you, that you don't feel any guilt for manifesting as a Muslim, and you just remember that every step of the way, whether you're seeing birds before land or certain changes in your outer world, whether your heart has been changed, whether your mindset has been changed, it's all because God is guiding you through this life. And he's doing so for the purpose of you remembering him and thanking him and showing your gratitude towards him. So I really appreciate everybody for coming here today and watching, and thank you all for being part of this community. I feel really grateful that I am able to channel these messages for you, to deliver guidance for you, to help you grow closer to God, closer to yourself, and closer to your dream life. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.